Hey everybody, I'm Robert and I'd like to welcome you down here to the Apex reception. Today was actually a pretty cool day for me because that car right there came home, which is my M4 VLN car, which we'll probably do a full review on and just an in-depth look at so you guys can see what it is, but it really is a special car. Carbon wide body, it's actually running the 24-hour race, it's running VLN races on the Nürburgring, and it is street legal, which means I get to take it out in Touristenfahrt and I get to take it on the Nürburgring for fun. But it really is a very fast car and a very special car, so I'll go into more detail about that. But today is the 3-question Blitz. We didn't get it out for lunchtime just because we've had so much other stuff going on, some really neat things coming up. Yesterday I put out a video on harnesses. I did 5 scenarios. I've got tons of comments, great commentary, but there's been a couple comments of things that I've forgotten. Mind you, you need to pay attention to the things that I say. When I say these are 5 scenarios that I think about with this car, it's 5 scenarios I think about with that car or 5 scenarios that suit me. I'm not going into detail in that video yesterday about cars with no airbags or cars with full cages because the example did not have a car with no airbags or a car with a full cage. So if we want to go into more detail about every single type of scenario and crash, I'd be happy to do that. Don't hesitate to put some comments. We could go into full safety detail 45-minute video and talk about that. Might be interesting, might be boring, who knows. But anyhow, first and foremost, we have some questions for today. Why don't I just wear a Hans device in TF, assuming that somebody will probably not check? Well, that's a very interesting question and something that I have played with in my mind before. I would love to wear a Hans device in TF, but I do have very good support from the Nürburgring. I support the Nürburgring on many counts. The videos that we make when we're on the Nürburgring, they're done with a media license. And the last thing that I want to do is set an example of not following the rules. You might say, gosh, you're putting aside your own safety for the rules and things like that. Yeah, it's a very gray area, very tricky subject, I guess. But my take on it is that if the Nürburgring says that you have to be street legal to go on the track, I'm going to do my best to follow that policy. I'm going to do my best to support their rules and regulations and be hopefully a good example. It's an actual program that the Nürburgring has put into place recently, which is be a good example, lead by example. And that is something that we do try to do at Apex as a whole. The second question was kind of a funny one, but we get it a lot, different comparisons between drivers at Apex. And the question is, who's faster, Tim or Robert? Well, let's be honest. I've challenged Tim many times to that to settle this once and for all. We each bring our fastest car and we'll see who's faster. So if Tim brings his car and I bring mine, I think I could take him. However, if we put Tim in my fastest car, I think it'd be another story. Any good person in business or anything that they're working on is going to hire the best people for the jobs that they do, okay? So I'm sitting here making a YouTube video, and the only reason I'm making a YouTube video is because Misha's not at Apex. If Misha was at Apex right now, I would have Misha doing the YouTube videos because he is the YouTube guy. He's very personable. He's very creative in terms of the ideas that he comes up with for the videos, and he's engaging. Yesterday in my video about the GT2 RS with the harnesses, somebody said, I don't have any interest in listening to some guy who speaks in a monotone manner. You get it. They think I was boring. That's fine. Misha is very up and down. He's exciting. I hire him to do YouTube videos just in the same way that I hire the likes of Tim, Moritz, David Petard, Fabsan, these guys to drive taxi because at the end of the day, they're faster than I am. They might be more engaging. They might be more fun. And I think that that's something that you always put the fast people in those positions. If Tim and I were to go out on a track day or in a VLN race or something like that, and we were to compare our fastest laps, I would say that Tim would probably be maybe 15 seconds a lap faster than me. The difference is that Tim will take a car to its limit, and I always have that slight bit of reserve. I have that in the back of my mind. I'm not out trying to prove a point. I'm not out trying to win anything, and I just want to enjoy my time in cars. My strong suit is that I can take a car and I can tell you exactly how it works. Even if I am 15 seconds off the pace, I can tell you how it's feeling, what it's doing, and do a very nice suspension setup on it. And that's something that I do enjoy doing. But yes, at the end of the day, Tim is going to be a faster driver than me. He has a natural ability to get into a car, hit turns, and be on a car's limit very quickly. I am more of a reserve driver. I go out and I do slow laps and build up to the car, and learn about the car, and that's how I like to drive, and I'm perfectly content with that. And I think the sooner that we all realize what our limitations are and drive within those limitations, we're going to have a lot more fun. There's going to be a lot less accidents on the track, and you're going to have a little bit more money in your pocketbook because of that. Finally, question number 3. This is an interesting question. It is, will the Nürburgring continue to get more popular, or is it slowly going to die out? I think that the Nürburgring is going to continually get more popular. If you look at the Nürburgring just over the last year, the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, every single year it gets more popular. Why is this? Social media, video games. There's all these different things that are bringing young generations of people into the Nürburgring that didn't used to exist. When I was young, I didn't know what the Nürburgring was, because how would I? I was living in California, for example, and I was young. There was no social media, there was no YouTube, there was no Forza, no PlayStation. I had a Super Nintendo and I was shooting ducks with a plastic gun on a screen, and I thought it was the most amazing piece of technology I've ever seen. Today, people are driving the Nordschleife in Apex taxi cars that look identical to the taxi. I get messages from people that said, look at the car I built, one day I'm coming to the Nürburgring. They're looking at Apex, they're looking at all these other companies, they're looking at race teams, and they are idolizing that and living their Nürburgring dream through these video games. I think that the Nürburgring is only going to continue getting busier, and the problem is there's only one Nürburgring, it's only so long, and it can only handle so many cars. So I think it's ultimately going to be a challenge over time to see how people react to the crowds and how the local area reacts to the crowds. Is there going to have to be limitations? Are you going to have to buy tickets in advance? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see, but I do foresee the Nürburgring to continue getting more popular. Hopefully people will start moving to the slower times of the year so they can enjoy it in better ways. But yeah, that's my take. That's 3-question blitz. It's not an in-depth review of anything. It's just a little bit of fun, a way to get some of your guys' questions and comments answered. Please comment below with 3 questions that you guys might come up with for the next 3-question blitz, which will be next Friday. Catch you guys later.